Okay, we're joined from the United States with Amin. Tell
Yes.
us, Amin, what your background is and what this is really all about.
Okay. My name is Amin Asamuddin Amin. My father is Asamuddin Amin. My mother is Magda Rees. Um, they're both Sudanese origins. We're Arabs. Um, we speak the Arabic language. I was born here in the United States in New Mexico, February 17th, 1983. So, and past few years, I've been having serious issues, conspiracies against me, where I'm a target individual. For what reason exactly, I really can't say. My father might have something to do with it. Um, I don't think my mother is, but she could be. I really don't know. On her side, I would say on her side, I have relatives on her side. They have ties to the government of Sudan. My father's side, well, my father's side has a serious issue when it comes to his to our past. When I say to our past, our great great grandfather back was a Freemason, and from what I heard, he ruled Egypt during the colonization when Britain was there. His
Now
original name.
there was just a little bit of corruption there on the sound. He ruled Egypt when? Sorry, it just didn't quite come over
his
well.
his his name. If you look in the history books from what I heard from my father, his name was Edward Schneider, and he was during the colonization during Sudan. And my father believes this is our grandfather. And so from what he did his research, I didn't do any research on this, but he told me he believed he was a Freemason. I think he was I'm not sure. I don't know if he told me or somebody else told me he was a Freemason. He became a Muslim, and from there you can do your own research about it. So
I mean, it seems that he would only become a Muslim for political reasons or for strategic reasons.
it could be.
I mean,
I don't know.
you know, I don't know, but Masons, Catholics, Christianity, Muslims, I mean, does it mix? I mean, does it? Does he just get sort of walk from one to the other?
That's a good question. I mean, we've been Muslims like since he became a Muslim, if I'm not mistaken. If this is the case, and if he's our grandfather, uh, he since our lineage from then on became Muslims for then from what I know of. My mother's side, from I really can't I really don't know too much about her side, but from what I know, they're also Muslims. But at some point, I would think that they could have been Jews or Christians, but I think Jews in that aspect. Um, from what I heard, again, I don't know. I didn't do any research about this. But I did talk to you about our neighbors in Sudan who who are related to the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. I told you about him, and his and
Okay,
real name.
okay.
Real
Now
name.
this is actually one reason why I don't like having detailed conversations without it being recorded. So this is a bit weird. And also, could you mention the year that this is all happening? Because okay, I can look up in history books, but okay, explore the Jewish connection, the Israeli connection, and all that, and also non-Muslims often don't understand the very important differences between different types of Muslim and why that matters so much.
Right, right.
Okay, so
Like
if you
for
go into
me,
all that,
okay, I'll say this. I'll say this because I'm not an expert in this, but from my experience, I'm a Sunni and Sufi. I come from a that means I'm an occultist. I do all the occult. I'm different from the Wahhabis, and I'm different from the Salafis. I'm not gonna say all Salafis, but I'm different because there's a certain Salafi Wahhabi connection. If I'm not mistaken, they're against the Sufis. Me, what attracted me to the Sufis because of the occult. Because to me, religion is based on the occult, and these people, because there's a branch of these mad Muslims who just deal with what they see and try to go above the illusion. To them, that's them. That's not me. And this is one of the serious issues we have in the Muslim community. I myself, the way I'm being treated with the Muslim community is not very good. And I could tell you stories what makes you say, wait, this is the kind of thing can make a person also leave Islam, which I have not. But throughout the years, I've been listening to Tim Rifat, the Silo Tim Rifat, and I seem to be going on his path.
Yes. Yeah. Now
Yes.
this is now this is now this is very important because if you're a mason and you've done all those kind of not secret knowledge teachings and learnings, it's not that difficult to then go into the type of Muslim faith that you're talking about.
Well, I wouldn't know because I heard about the Masons. Again, I don't know too much about them, but the Silo Tim Rifat does. I'm a customer of his. I know him through Jeff Friends, one of my friends. And again, Jeff Friends has a serious issue with the with the Islam and the Muslims, but yet after all this, I'm his friend.
Good.
And
Now, I'd like to say, I'd like to ask if you know why did all of Tim Rifat's material with Jeff Rent suddenly disappear off the internet?
I think I'm not sure, but I think the fact that for him to stay in Vietnam, he cannot make those Jeff Rent shows because then the the evil Illuminati establishment will not like mouth the Vietnamese. So in that sense, if he doesn't do the shows on Vietnam, they can't say anything back to the Vietnamese people or the government. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
I think that is the case. If and I don't know what else is going on because again, with the Silo Tim Rifat, he doesn't say everything on camera. But this is from my point of view. I could be wrong, but I don't think he's telling everything. There's certain things I like to ask him myself personally. I would like to also uh, give me Duncan's phone number because I like to speak to him so I can speak to Silo Tim Rifat in Vietnam because my own personal services I need to talk to him and see what's going on and stuff. And
I think from my understanding is, and I don't represent Tim Rifat, and I don't represent the business of Duncan Davis
right,
and the work that I talk about, but I don't represent it. So I
right.
don't think you'll get connected directly to Tim, but I'm sure Duncan would be able to assist in some way or other.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. But the thing is though, I hope you also get to talk to him. He can come out and speak a lot about the occult because it's one thing to talk about geopolitics, but it's a whole different issue to talk about the science. Because from my point of view, in order for us to move forward, we have to understand the science, the truth, the real history, the real truth, what's going on. Because then otherwise, then these people are just going to be trapped in this prison nonsense, this
I mean,
illusion nonsense.
have you been able to look at the? I mean, there's something. I mean, I know that Tim is doing something like 100 videos. I think he's up to maybe 30 or something on the magic and all that sort of stuff. Have you followed all of those or been able to?
Um, I, I mean, I follow his videos on RV North channel, and then Duncan made a new channel called the Illuminati, which I followed that too. There are certain
Yeah,
things I don't
that
follow.
was primarily. I think they created that to put out the material on Max Spears and another actor.
Orlando
Uh,
Bloom,
yeah, and they if they didn't want to lose their other channel, I think, but I think that was
right,
really the reason for that.
right, right, and so, but there's other material I have not looked in. Um, I've been following since 2010, I could say, if I'm not mistaken. But there's certain material I did not get to listen to because there's certain things uh, for psychic warfare.com website where you have to have uh, a login and a password, which I don't have that. I'm supposed to have one, but I don't have that. And
Right.
so, and that's one aspect. And then there was like about half a year or a year, I did not listen to him in the differential. Like I could say the last year or Jeff Friends with him with Jeff Friends, I didn't get to listen to him that much because I was like in a whole different mindset where I was just like I didn't want to listen to it, but then came back to him again, and so and I talked to him. I think before he went back to Vietnam, I talked to him. I think like last year or 2 years ago before he went back to Vietnam. And I think the last time there he was in the UK,
Yeah, well, he was
and
only in the UK for a brief period of time last year, and he certainly won't be back for at least another year.
I guess
So he
so.
won't be back in the UK in 2020, especially the way things are going at the moment, which is all part of the design, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, from what I see, from there's nobody else talks like him. We're talking about somebody who put uh, the science and magic together and explained it very well. Basically, science and magic is advanced science. And maybe there's somebody out there who's like him in Asia, or I'm assuming Asia might be to his level, or other people, but not in the public view. From what I know of, I could be wrong. I'm not sure, but from what he talks about, I have not seen anybody like him. I'm impressed with his work. Others like
Are you talking
um,
about the complex number space, the explanation for that?
that and more. But I also like to say uh, one person, well, not one, but two. I don't know if you know about them or not. You know somebody named Thomas Williams. He has a show.
No. But having
Uh,
said that, if I know about it, could you explain what that is so others could find out?
okay, Thomas Williams and some woman named Kim Possible. They claim to be. This is on the internet. Alternative news. They claim to be uh, having advanced technology where they're beating the Rothschilds up, and then and others. Somebody called Randy from the White Circle Light or whatever, and so they never mentioned Tim Refat. I think once Tom Williams mentioned him, but not by name. But these people claim they have all this technology and this and that, and that they are the universal counsel for this species and whatever. And I don't know if that's true or not. But I'm just saying somebody like him who he didn't mention Tim Refat, and so Silo Tim Refat. And my respect to the Silo Tim Refat for what he has done, what he's doing against the Rothschilds and against others. Um, he never mentioned the Black Sun Society, which makes me curious if you see one of them or not. Um,
I wouldn't know, but I do know that it's very important to understand that Tim Refat was to connect with MI6,
right,
and
right,
also, more importantly, MI6's Mr. Magic Man, I don't like using that term, was Colin Bloy.
right.
And
Yes,
Colin Bloy gave Tim Refat a number of things which make it very important as to who Tim is and what he's
right.
got.
Right, and he was supposed to be a part of the establishment, and they did not give him his money, and this is why he went rogue on them, and understandable, and I'm happy about that. I'm not gonna lie, because if they did it, if they do him in, or he became one of them, then will leave us in a very bad situation. And it worked out best for us, I would say.
If you
Uh,
try to prevent, I know it's easy to do, but could you try and not wave your hands because it reduces the bit rate a lot?
okay, sorry about
Okay,
that.
yeah. Okay, we'll see if we can get out of that. We've had a little bit of a hiccup with the picture. Okay,
And
okay.
also, I want to say good work for the crew to move Duncan and Angelic Annie and the others.
Uh-oh.
So,
I think if we try to prevent using the name, because I think what's
okay,
happening is the auto bots are reducing the bit rate every time you mention the name. We've just dropped our picture resolution again.
okay.
Uh, we, we, we'll we'll soldier on. Let's see if we can get this. That's it. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Continue. I think if we try to minimize the use of certain trigger names, it seems to help in terms of
Okay.
bit rate. That's all.
All right, but I just want to say with the silo Tim Reef and his crew, I mean, to give them also credit, so not to be, so we can be nice to them and not neglect them in that kind of sense. Because the people are with Tim Refat. I'm not saying all of them, but some of them are very nice and they're trying to save the world and
Yeah.
try to help people. And
I
in
think
that sense,
probably I have to say something really serious here. Probably the biggest revelation, which has probably been disclosed, is the fact that Brighton Beach is bloody awful. It's full of stones. It's awful. And if you ever go to Brighton, don't expect sand and wear good, strong soles on whatever footwear you're using, but you'll need them. But it does have nice ice cream.
do you see me coming there soon? Do you think?
Pardon?
Do you see me coming there soon? in
Yeah,
England.
yeah. Well, why not? I don't think anybody's going to be coming to England at this rate. We're losing our airlines, and I don't see us coming out of lockdown for a very long time unless certain important things happen. But this seems to be all part of the destruction of the European matrix.
Which I'm happy about.
Yeah,
Not gonna lie to
and
you,
this is very important in terms of the Rothschilds and the opening of portals in these castles and major dark stuff. Switzerland is the key on this. What's going on there and associated areas?
I don't know. Uh, I can point you some people, and they might give you answers, like Glenn Fulford, the journalist in Japan, William Fulford, maybe Jeff Rense, because Jeff Rense should have a lot of info on this, or knows people that could have. Um, I, those two people I know they should have. Here in Texas, a gentleman named by Jim Mars, who came a
Yeah,
lot
the
on.
late Jim Mars. Yeah.
Oh, really? He passed away?
Oh, Jim Mars, great man. We were looking at him at the UFO Congress videos last night. Jim Mars unfortunately passed away, I think, about 2 years ago.
I did not hear this.
Yeah, he
I'm
passed
surprised.
on. Big loss.
Yes, it's a very big
He's
loss. I mean,
a good Texan. He was a Texan, wasn't he?
yes.
Yeah,
I mean that man, he really lived life. I mean, he
yeah,
had a heck of a life. If you listen to what he has to say, I mean, I'm impressed by him. I mean,
yeah. I think the
it,
main thing about Jim Mars was that um, he was able to convey in an understandable way some pretty heavy duty context
yeah.
issues, but also do it with a proper American twang of a Texan. Yeehaw! Or is that the wrong thing to say? I don't know. Anyway,
He had his style. I'm not gonna lie. He had his own style, which was excellent, and I wish I could have met him. Uh, but I guess it wasn't meant to be. I guess there's other people along my journey. I hope I get to meet who are good and who can take up as they say, the saying, they take up the what's
well,
it called?
he left a lot of good books and a good legacy, but that's enough about bless him. What about your plight? What about what's going on with you, and what's the reason why you're making this call today? On for the purposes of recording, this is the coronavirus lockdown. We're 26th of April, 2020.
Um, to get my message out there. Uh, to show that I will have vengeance. I will these people who did these conspiracies against me. I will go after them. I try to call people and see what's going on, but I seem to have no help. And if I do have help, it will be more in the sense of like, okay, if I'm not mistaken, nobody will touch me, come directly, does something, but I'm just, but I'm not giving up because again, I told you before, the Sudanese government asked me, or one of the intelligence services in Sudan, they asked me to work for them. They took me to the building.
Okay,
So
explain all that because okay, we may have talked about that before, but we haven't
yeah,
talked it on this. So could you explain that whole thing, please?
in 2010, when I was in Sudan, before I came back to the United States, I was taken to a building where I was asked to work for the Chinese intelligence services, and I said maybe. Don't be surprised if they had people. Um,
Sorry, I'm very sorry, but when you said asked to work for, it got a little bit broke up a little
yeah,
bit. Could you just say
intelligence,
that again, please?
intelligence services of Sudan.
Internal services for Sudan.
Intelligence,
Oh, it's broken up a lot. Frozen.
intelligence.
It's completely frozen. Okay, internal services for Sudan. Is that correct?
No, no, no. Intelligence.
Intelligence.
Intelligence. Yes.
So
Intelligence.
you were asked to work for the intelligence services of
Sudan.
Sudan. Okay.
Yes.
And
And this happened.
what happened about that?
Um, I just said maybe, and that was it, and I left. And but after that, I came back here to the States. I can say there was somebody following me. Um, who exactly? I don't know this person.
Well,
I,
I
I saw
suppose
him
if you're going to
twice.
be asked to work for an intelligence service, they want to make sure that you're not going to then go and walk off and talk to somebody else who might be in a different intelligence service.
Well, you know what? You're right. but I did ask for the Egyptians to help me, and they didn't help me. I asked for Egyptians. I tried to call. I talked to Mike Harris, who was an associate and a partner or associate with Gordon Duff, and they treated me
And Gordon
badly.
Duff is the editor, just briefly, Gordon Duff's the editor of Veterans Today, and not everything
Yes,
he says is the truth, because if he did say 100% the truth, he wouldn't be around anymore. Is that right?
and yes, and he stated that. He stated that on the Mike Harris show. He stated that he said around 40 to 60%. He stated that on the Mike Harris show, and that's what he said. Because if he had told the truth 100%, he would have been dead. That's what he stated. So if anybody wants to go back on the Mike Harris show and check that out, feel free
And
to
Mike
do so.
Harris is a presenter on the Revolution Radio, or was?
He used to be on Rents,
Yeah,
and then he
Rent.
left.
Oh, Jeff Rent. Okay, Rents. Okay.
Yeah, he used to be on Rents, and then he left. And now I right now I really don't check their work that much and see what's going on. But don't be surprised if Gordon Duff has tabs on me. But if I get to meet him, when I talked to Benjamin Fulford about the situation, he was told that they were worried about me killing them. Again,
About
Benjamin
you
Fulford,
killing them?
yes, yes, and and and
Now,
and, and I'm
why would they think of a thing like that?
ask them. I don't know.
I
Uh,
mean, is it part of your repertoire that you go sort of, oh, I've lost pictures here. Yeah, okay, continue. We're having one or
I,
two issues here in Wiltshire. Anyway, continue.
these people took an oath. Okay, if this was the case, I mean, they should have guards. I mean, I mean, to me, there's something very seriously wrong. If somebody comes, like me, a citizen, want to come to a police officer, want to come to they should have parameters and a certain way of doing things where there should be security. They should not be worried. And this is their job. They took an oath, but the way they treated me and stuff like that was bad. And so I haven't done nothing. Have done anything for them to say that. But as time went by, and let this be stated on the record, British Ford called out Gordon Duff as working for the Rothschilds and Rockefellers clan. That's what he stated.
I wasn't sure that Rockefeller and the Rothschilds were actually bosom buddies. They may appear to be from our sort of so-called perspective, but I got the impression that the Rothschilds and Rockefellers were slightly in competition, or was that just business competition?
That's a good question. And you need somebody who has to be in the inside to give you a very good answer about that, like the Silo Tim Refat. He should. I from what I heard and read or whatever, I would say that they're one and the same. I could be wrong, but again, you should also talk to Benjamin Fulford about the situation because he seemed to have ties. Now, if he really had fallen out with Gordon Duff, well, it leaves me back to a question then who he talks to when it comes to to NSA or Pentagon or whatever, because he always says he has a source but doesn't name them. I talked to him about that situation once, and he said it was Gordon Duff. So I don't know what other people he has, out there. So because I talked to him several times, I talked to Benjamin for several times about the situation, and he himself, I'm not saying he's a bad person, but his conduct and stuff with me, I just don't like it. I did not like it.
What
So
happened there? Why? What was the detail there?
he on a personal level, I might say, I mean, he might be good and stuff, but I think he has certain problems, certain issues he has to work on. And I don't want to say more than that, but uh, maybe we could talk in private about the whole situation because I don't want to say in public and this and that. But I'm not saying he's bad. I believe he's a good person, but his conduct, he needs to work on. He needs to work on his conduct.
So you're not happy with him?
No,
You wouldn't send him a Christmas card in the event that you were somebody who would send somebody a Christmas card.
if I go to Japan and I see him face to face, um, we'll see. But I'm
Well,
just not too happy.
just imagine, just imagine you are in Japan right now and you are able to speak to the gentleman concerned directly. What would you say to him?
Well, I would say, um, how come he didn't help me the way he should have?
Now, why should he have helped you? Why should he have done that? As opposed, was it?
Well, like he claimed to be a part of at least one, if not two or three secret societies, and where they claim they want to help the world and help humanity and blah blah blah. And okay, well, I need help here, and he's not doing it, or they're not doing it, and he himself.
Okay, why would they be obliged to help you? What is it that you've got that's so important, as opposed to just some kind of Joe? And I'm gonna be. I mean, maybe you're just some kind of guy they don't give a damn about. What makes you so special to need or be obliged to have help?
Okay, I'm not. I don't claim to have anything from what I know, from my knowledge. I don't claim I have anything they might want. Maybe they do. I don't know, but I don't. From my point of view, uh, he just made the claim, and let them reach out, they were able to help me, and they have it. He did help me in
Oh,
a certain
now
sense.
I'm going to have to correct. Say stop again. And could you when you just said claims? We lost everything again. Could you say that again, please?
I said, I said, I I thought by their claims they want to help humanity and whatever, uh, that might be able to help me, and and from what I've seen, that they I mean, Bushel for helping a little bit. He published the work about what I said about Benjamin Netanyahu, about him being Sudanese, being an Arab, basically, uh, and and he also talked it on the radio on what's his name on Mike Harris radio. He mentioned my name about me telling him this, but Mike Harris would not mention the fact that I talked to him on the phone.
Why would they
So he,
not? Oh, they. Why was that? Because the phones are bugged, and that might not be a good thing for them.
no, it's just that the fact is that Mike Harris should have said yes. I know Amin. I talked to Amin on the phone, but he did not do that on live radio. It was Fulford who said I talked to Amin. Amin told me that Netanyahu is actually he stated my name when I told him about Benjamin Netanyahu on the radio with Mike Harris, but Mike Harris would not say I talked to Amin. So Mike Harris
Okay,
made a
well,
mistake.
what was it that you talked about that they didn't want to talk about then? Talk about it now.
No, well, I said it about Benjamin Netanyahu, and another problem about this Palestinian person, this Jewish guy, Benjamin Netanyahu's nephews. If you type in my name and Benjamin Fulford,
Okay,
you
could
will
you
see the
explain
article.
all that? Could you put meat on the bones of all that? Because you're saying that.
Okay,
Well, explain it now.
can I go and come back? I need
Yeah,
to
go
use the
ahead.
restroom.
Go ahead. Where you were explaining something about Netanyahu, and we were trying to get that.
Yes, I was saying he is from the family, if I'm not mistaken, Shaul. These people are in Sudan. They're yes Jewish, but from what I understand, they're not exactly European. The family name is Shaul, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Uh, I know his nephews. I know them since childhood. I told this to Bunny Fulford, and he also stated this on his website. You can talk to him about it too. You can call him up. I'll give you his phone number if you want to.
Now, basically,
If you
what you're saying is that Netanyahu, the current prime, is it the current prime minister? Is a bit doubtful as to what his status is at the moment. On April the
Yeah, he has
26th.
issues. Yeah, he has issues. Yes, he has serious problems. Um, I'm surprised. He made it this year. I mean, he he's something. And I don't know him personally, but from what I see, I don't know, I hear about him. He's not. He's something else. So
Okay,
um,
well, okay. I'm sure that anybody who becomes prime minister isn't necessarily whiter than white and a happy, slappy, nice person. They have to get through certain issues. I think, but I mean, are you saying that basically the prime minister of Israel is actually a Palestinian?
I'm not saying he's Palestinian, but I'm saying the fact that his real name, uh, Benjamin Netanyahu, is that's not it. I know
Well,
his
what is
family.
it? What's the deal on the prime minister Netanyahu?
From my point of view, from what I know, Okay, I know his nephews. His nephews are Muslims. I know the Muslim branch.
And what is
I know.
that? What's the big deal here?
Well, the thing is that uh, that they portray him as being some kind of European origin and lived in New York or whatever, and and maybe he went to New York at some point in his life. I don't know, but I do know the fact that he was there. He lived in Sudan. His relatives are there. Um, some of them became Muslims. Some of them still, if I'm not mistaken, are still Jewish. So that's the point
Now,
I'm
this
trying to
is
make.
all very important. This is getting very technical in terms of who Jews are, where they really come from. There are various other. I mean, one of the people I met, interviewed, uh, uh, which I can't currently recall, but she used the term the so-called fake Jews. Is it the Ashkenazi Jews or something like that? I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but there are different. What we're doing here is getting into
Ashkenazi,
the
Ashkenazi.
detail. Ashkenazi. We're getting into the detail of why it's relevant in the different Muslim sects, different Jewish sects, what this means, and why you are being targeted.
Again, as I told you before, in my point of view, you have to round up these people, interrogate them, use remote viewers to go through their minds and see exactly what their game is, or what their goal is, or their interest is.
Yeah, I mean, I've had that experience personally recently with a guest staying here. Yeah,
Uh,
okay.
and if you know any remote viewers besides Tim Refat who are able to help me, feel free to tell them about me, and maybe they can help me in sense, I don't know, in some way, I don't know. So that'll be very nice and appreciated. And
So why
I
would you?
myself,
What exactly are you looking for from that group of people, and why are you being? What's the point of your conversation today? What's the main reason why we're having this conversation?
well, to put my story out there to the public and let uh, other people see it, especially in the intel services. Above the intel services, you have secret societies, families who
And
want
what?
to know.
Sorry.
Well, they don't want to know exactly why I'm being targeted, and they'll probably say, "Wait a minute, why? What does he have? Or what can he give us? Or what can he do for him to be like this?" Now, they would want to know. If I'm in their position, they don't want to know, because maybe I'm a kind of guy who can make a revolution or do a regime change on them, and they might not be too happy. So they'll need to investigate, see exactly what's going on. If I was in a position, I could be wrong, but this is my point of view.
Okay.
Uh, and so maybe through this way I could get help and finally get justice, get compensation, healing, and justice about what happened to me in my life. Because
Look, what has happened? What is the deal here? Give me 5 points which you actually want to get across in terms of who you are, what you are, and what's happening right now. What's your aims?
well, as I said before, uh,
Forget about what
the,
you said before. Say it right now.
well, I want to immigrate to Egypt. I want to I, I want to uh, go there, study, do business affairs there. At some point, to leave there and go to Asia to study, do business affairs there also.
Now, Asia's
Uh,
a big place. What part of Asia?
um, I definitely Russia, Japan,
You're
China, and
obviously
India.
you're obviously talking Eastern Russia.
I well, the Russians, the Russians, they they were into they were into the psychic development research, and I'm very interested in that field myself. And I send you, and I don't know if you see it or not on Facebook. I send you videos uh, about the subject. I hope you liked them, and I also liked the it was I will
Well,
say
the thing about those videos, are they copyright usable?
I'm not sure. I got that from YouTube, so you have to check it for yourself. But I'll say this: you sent me an article by Joaquin Flores, and several times I tried to. contact him, he will not contact me, talk to me, or whatever the case may be. Uh, and one of the videos that he had made, I think last year or 2 years ago, with two gentlemen from Europe, he stated that the liberals had a problem with themselves. You have the authentic liberals against the so-called neoliberals. To me, the Silo Tim Refat talked about the fact that here uh, it's not liberalism in America or in the West, or I guess here in America, but it's the fact it's Luciferic. So one of the big issues here we have is Luciferics parading as they're liberals, but they're actually Luciferics. So this is a serious point I want to make out there, because not all liberals are bad. I'm not a liberal. I'm not one of them. Uh, I can say my background, if I'm not mistaken, was more conservative. Um, conservative. It's definitely not liberal. I'm not liberal. But I'd like to make the point that Joaquin said that, and the Josiah Lord Tim Refat said that, and so put two and two together. Um, that's a very interesting point to have to make there. So to understand what's going on in the media, the news and stuff. That's a very good point I'd like to put out there, because uh, this whole label game was going on. Uh, People can get lost into it. A problem I have when it comes to the Muslims is the fact that when there's, let's say, Salafi Wahhabi people doing problems, they brand all Muslims. I don't like that. I, I, I would like them to say, okay, this kind of sect did this, and this sect did this, or this sect did that, because people can have a more depth what's really going on. So that's an issue. That's one point I like to make out there, and I hope I made it very clearly in that sense. Um, but going back to me, yes. So my goal is to immigrate to Egypt, live there, start a new life there. If not, I'll go to Asia, Europe. I, I'm
Okay. Okay. Just a second. I just need to make a slight adjustment.
okay.
Okay. Just imagine that you are actually sitting in front of immigration right now. Why should they let you into any country? What talents do you have, and what do you have to offer
Okay.
in a simple way?
When it comes to university, I want to study mathematics. When it comes to business wise, I'm more into the arts. I'm more into, let's say, making a video game, or being an actor, or singing. That's the fields I want to do. But here in the United States, when it comes to Hollywood, me being a Muslim and being an Arab, that's not very easy, because we over here have been very discriminated against.
I mean, surely
And
they need. I mean, surely you could get lots of roles as the bad guy in these
you're right,
movies.
the terrorist,
The
the
terrorist,
terrorist.
the Mr. Big, or opposite James Bond, or all those movies. I mean,
I
surely there must be, or maybe I mean, there must be roles for that. But I mean, it wouldn't take too much to tell you that acting's a bit of a thin profession if you want a regular income.
Yeah, but you know what? I have ambitions. Since I was a kid, I really, I tried. Let's say, I mean, I could say, like, to have dreams, and I'm not one of those guys. I mean, yes, I had serious problems in life. I had uh, issues. I had problems, but I'm the kind of guy who just keep on going, keep on going, keep on going, not giving up. I will not give up.
Yeah, but I
And
mean, listen, I don't want to, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I mean, I'm sure lots of people want to go to America and work in the movies and make a lot of money in Hollywood. I mean, that's about as thin as it gets.
uh,
But I mean, what's the if you're talking in front of an intelligence officer, what do you have to offer? I mean, you've told us that you were, the Sudanese intelligence people said, "Hey, do you want to work for us?" Why should Why should any intelligence agency want to employ you as such?
okay. One thing I realized in my background, I lived also in Beirut. I lived in the Levant. in Beirut, which is in Lebanon. There, when I was there, I was going in a private school where more in the upper, let's say upper society, in the sense that people who had high income or the richest or the rich wealthy level.
So
And so,
that's what we would call in the unit in the UK or British Isles, that was what we call public school. You boarding school that we paid for, expensive.
oh really? Okay. Um,
Is that what you're talking about?
it, I'm not sure, but I'm talking about private school. So
Yeah, well,
I'm saying,
yes. No, in the UK, a public school is private, and it's a legacy of history, unfortunately.
and 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 so and so because I lived there, I lived in Sudan, I lived in different states here because I lived in California, I lived in Nevada, I lived in the state of North Carolina, I lived in Ohio, I lived in Florida. So when somebody looks at my background and I traveled a lot, I know two languages, I know English and Arabic. Um, that could be something. What other they might see? Okay, well, he might be intelligent. Um, there were times when in the academic field I was good when I was in university. At one point, I was in the dean list. I did not make it to president, but I was in the dean list. So because I did not apply myself the way I should have. But if I apply myself more, I could have probably been in the president list and probably could have been an honor student. And the option's still there. I'm not saying it's not. So it just depends also on the officers what they're looking for because uh, I might be good at I might have talents in some things or what aspects of whatever, but they might need something specifics. Then I mean, I might have it, I might not, or whoever the case may be. So you have to talk to that individual, he or she or they, what they want and what their goals and their aims is. And so you have to talk to them in that sense. The CIA weren't that exactly up close and personal like the Sudanese was with me. But CIA, I believe as I told you before, they themselves I believe they hacked or somebody hacked my laptop and then I saw
My
that
God,
actually
you had a laptop hacked. That's I've
so, so, so,
never heard anybody.
sorry, not the laptop. It was a computer. It was a
Yeah,
computer.
yeah.
It wasn't a laptop. It was a computer. It was hacked, and then I don't know if the same day or some other time the CIA ad came up about being equal opportunity employment and blah blah blah. And so, uh, and
So, are you saying that the CIA said, "Hey, do you want to work for us?"
well, there was the ad and they hacked somebody hacked the laptop. It wasn't them. Could have been Mossad. I don't know. It could have been whatever.
Yeah,
But
but why
somebody.
why would Mossad or Mossad want you to work for the CIA? Or is that because they control the CIA?
I'm just saying somebody hacked it. Who exactly? I don't know. But I saw. But what I do know for a fact, I saw the advertisement, an ad on the CIA on the computer when I was in California.
So
And I told
you don't think that was by coincidence?
no, that was no coincidence. No, no,
Then why don't
no.
you just apply to the CIA? I mean, and you're in America, you work for the CIA. You know, you're on a meal ticket for life. Then
I want to be clean. I want to be clean in the sense that I don't want to get my hands dirty with a
are
with
you suggesting that working for the CIA would somehow dirty your hands?
yeah. I'm not too thrilled with these people. I'm not saying. I'm just saying that I just don't. I'm not very. I'm not saying
I
both are
think
bad.
Michael Shrimpton would probably say those nice people in Langley.
Well, he that's his experience, and again, I wouldn't know. So unless he told me or I myself have experience, but the way I seen with Gordon Duff, he wouldn't even talk to me. But Mike Harris, at least he had the decency to talk to me. He called me, but again, he called me in such a way that his phone number was not visible.
Yeah,
That's not
number withheld. Well, if you call from any exchange, in company exchange, that doesn't it can happen. Yeah.
and so and um
Okay, in the last 5 minutes, right? We've got 5 minutes left. We're coming up to an hour, and I think that's long enough. What's the deal? What do you want to actually say in a nutshell that you want to that's going to sell what you want to sell and make it happen?
Well, I I'm on vengeance. I'm on competition. I'm on justice. I hope somebody gets to see this video. So,
Vengeance for what exactly?
for what happened to me, for what happened to my life. I told you before.
Tell it and say it now.
Well, I believe in a personal level what they did to me with the business affairs with this Palestinian gentleman and this Jewish guy. Other than that, you have
What happened? What exactly happened? If it's not too painful to recall.
no. I mean, it's just a business deal went bad. Um, uh, they did not give they gave me a part of my money. They didn't give me the whole money. The whole money was supposed to be because I was supposed to be basically things were supposed to look in like imagine an airplane. You're going up, boom, 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 and then dish, and then
Yeah.
just crashed. So
Okay.
that's basically what happened. That's one
So
of the
so
things.
basically, you got screwed over on the deal.
Yes, that and um, with my mother is a whole different issue because I don't know if she was assassinated or not, but she may have could have been assassinated. Um,
What was the manner of of her death, if you wish to say it?
Officially, she she had surgery, she had issues, and then the chemotherapy basically killed her. But because that was the same, that's around the same time I was talking about full forward. I exposed him. I told him about Benjamin Netanyahu. I believe one of the people over there in Veterans Today retaliated against what I said. I'm not sure, but I believe it retaliated against what I said, and I think it could have. I'm not sure, but I said we could have. The Egyptians, I called them. They sent somebody to follow me, if I'm not mistaken, but they did not help me. They just left me, and so what I did is I I called up an Israeli journalist
Okay.
on Twitter.
Are you able to say what that is?
Um,
Who that person was?
I'll give you a name because I don't remember right now, but I'll send you his name later on. Uh, I told him, listen, I told him I have info about an Egyptian an Egyptian intelligence service and
Is
also
that the front office or the front office or the back office, as they say?
no, he's a journalist. He could be a Mossad agent. I don't know, but he has
Okay.
ties to Mossad. He's a journalist. Officially, he's a journalist, but other than that, I really can't say. But he could be a Mossad agent too. But I gave him info about an Egyptian intelligence because this is to me getting revenge on on the on the Egyptians for them not doing their part, for them not helping me.
They're not part in what and when.
Well, when I called them up 2 years ago, 3 years ago, asking for help, they did not help me. They did not help me, and so
Why would they help you in the first place? And if they should have helped you, what should they have helped
well,
you particularly about?
uh, about the situation, about I told you about the Palestinian guy, the Jewish guy. Uh, I told them about if I'm not mistaken about about Mike Harris, the Golden Duff issue. It was me trying to reach these people. So basically,
Your
so basically,
carers, who were they? Or what were they? You don't have to mention specific names, but what do you mean by your carers?
no. Well, forget that. What I'm trying to say is this: I'm trying to say the Egyptian people who portray themselves as being the freedom fighters or whatever against Israelis, helping the Arabs, blah blah blah. Because I watch their media, their news, their movies, whatever. Turned out to be crap. These people are basically, if I'm not mistaken, the opposite. And um, and I would think me being a Muslim, being an Arab, that would help me, that they'll sympathize with me. No, that did not happen.
Well,
And
that's I've heard that story before. I'm not surprised. It's not very
uh,
pleasant.
Yeah, and so I could do a lot worse also too. I could do a lot more, uh, and also more than that with the Egyptians, I had my Facebook, my earlier accounts more than once. Um, I had a Facebook account, having a problem with it right now. I can't open it. Not the one, not the one I talked with you with, a different one before, because I sent out videos against the against Sisi's regime, what's going on there in Sisi and stuff. And so now, uh,
Who was that person, or what regime was that?
no, we talk about Sisi, President Sisi of Egypt, the current president, the
Okay, fine.
dictator.
No, I need to clarify, but sometimes it's not
Yeah.
totally clear.
And so I had videos where two famous people in Egypt, they were friends with me in Facebook, but because I sent these videos to them to them, they stopped being my friends on Facebook, because they're afraid of CC and the intelligence service over there
Well,
might
that's
do them
fairly
harm.
reasonable. But I mean,
Yeah.
in a nutshell, what was the terrible thing you were saying?
No, I was sending videos
Yeah, but what was in
about,
it that was so terrible?
well, exposing, let's say, one of the anchor men over there being a homosexual, the people who are against CC making videos against CC for whatever reason, because it was more than one video. You have people
I mean,
talking about.
these are basically anti-government,
Yes,
regardless of
yes.
the country. But they come up with these pretty nasty facts, or deliberate lies about an individual, and they put them out there. And that's a sort of standard intelligence ploy, isn't it?
Um, I,
Propaganda against the political opposition.
that's what I've heard. Again, because I don't want anybody to make any mistake.
I, I,
I
th-
am not.
I think they
I,
call it. I think they call it besmirching one's reputation, making you unacceptable in polite company,
I just want to make.
or
I
certain companies.
Okay, I just want to make a serious point. I'm not an intelligence service officer. I have not worked for anybody from what I know of. I was not trained from what I know of. When I say that, I'm just saying that I'm not an intelligence officer. In the future, could I be? Yes, I could be in the future. Do I want to?
I mean,
Honestly,
do you want
no.
to advertise the fact that you want to be an intelligence officer? Surely, by doing that, is disqualifying you from being getting the role.
Well, the thing is, okay, I used to be a teacher, okay,
Okay.
and right now I made the decision to be a businessman, to have my own companies, to have my own business, and I want to be independent. So if in this kind of field, if I have to do something like this, it would have to be private. I don't want to work for anybody. I want to be my own boss. I want to be my own person, and so that's why I don't want to go work for any government or this or that. In the past,
Well,
I could
it
have, but
sounds as
right
if
now
you
I
want
don't.
your cake and eating it.
Well, why not? I mean, I believe in miracles, and 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 so that's me, because
Well, in closing, because we're running out of time. In closing, I just trying to stick to. Okay, what's what's your bottom line in this?
bottom line. Bottom, I mean, nothing comes into mind, because look. You talk to a person
Okay, you're
who.
in the room. This is your last sentence. What do you want to leave in people's minds that you're going to make your wishes come true?
Well, I went through a lot. You're talking to a person who has no sex life. Okay, I want to have a sex life. I changed over the years, in the sense that I don't want to get married anymore. I don't want to have kids. I want to have I want to have sex uh, with female partners who are loyal to me, and who are loyal to me, and
This isn't exactly the sort of thing you're going to get an intelligence officer to give you a job over.
but well, a lot of them. I'm not gonna say all of them are good and clean. A lot of them out there are freaks, and in a sense, I could say I'm better than them, in the sense that uh, I'm not a pedophile, in the sense that what they do, that's a whole different issue. Um, but I'm trying to say that where I'm coming from. I've changed. I have changed in the fact that, okay, I want to go have sex. No, forget marriage, forget kids. Um, I want to drink alcohol that's blessed alcohol. When I say blessed alcohol, like blessed wine. Um, if you told me that, let's say 20 years ago, I don't think that concept could exist. But me going through my journey, I find, okay, well, there's science, there,
Yeah, but
there's advanced science.
As a Muslim, are you allowed to drink alcohol? If you correct me if I'm
Well,
wrong.
that's a point I'm trying to make. The Muslims, I'm not saying all of them, but there's a serious ignorance in the fact that they say it's haram, it's like forbidden. I come say it's two ways, like sex. There's halal sex and there's haram sex. I come and say there's halal alcohol drinks and there's haram alcohol drinks. Try to explain that to them, and good luck to you. But to me, because going through my journey, I have changed. I have changed in that aspect. I became more um, questioning things and not just say, okay, let anybody tell me what to do, what not to do. I'm independent. When I say I'm independent, um, I think for myself. I, I don't go with the hive. I don't go with the herd,
So
whatever.
you're an independent thinker. You're an independently creative individual. Is that what you're saying? In closing.
Yes, yeah, yes, because going through this journey and seeing the transformation I've been through personally, okay, um, it, it, this is, I'm talking on a personal level. Yeah, I'm very independent because the Muslims here, I'm sorry to say, not just here, but also other places, if I'm not mistaken, they're just enslaved. They're enslaved by politics and by religion. And to me, I'm the kind of guy who's like saying, forget this crap, forget this nonsense. I'm gonna live life. I'm not going to
That's
live in a box.
yeah, but I mean that's a heck of a thing to say to people of any faith. You know, forget this crap.
I'm saying forget the ignorance. I'm not saying everything in the religion is bad. I'm not saying that. I'm still a Muslim, yes, but at the same time, I'm
I mean, I don't want you to be blaspheming here and have people wanting to cut your head off because you've said something atrocious.
right. That's another issue. Okay, if I disagree
I'm
with,
damn sure it's an issue. It's a bit severe.
I'm saying if I have a point of view, like let's say alcohols, to me, there's two ways about it. Like sex, there's a good way of doing it, which is good, pure, or in the sense that it's halal meaning permissible, and haram meaning forbidden. To me, I look at the alcohol drinks the same way. There's a good, to me, there's blessed alcohol drinks, like blessed alcohol wine, and there's the other type, which is bad and toxic for somebody. So just because I disagree with them, we should not be killing each other. But I'm sorry to say, not everybody feels like that, and I'm against that kind of nonsense. I, I mean, I'm the kind of person who, like people like me and you, we can agree with stuff or we can disagree, but it doesn't mean we have to go to war with each other just because we disagree on something. It doesn't mean we can have a nice civilized discussion. Why not we learn from each other?
Well,
That, that,
that's a
that
wonderful thing to end on. I mean, uh, it's we're running out of time, and that's you've said a lot of courageous things, and
oh, thank you.
may your wishes come true, and thank you for talking to basis.
I want to say thank you, because what you're doing and trying to help the public, it, it's very courageous of you. You're helping people. You're trying to expose the truth out there, and to that, you are a real jihadist. You are a jihadist in the sense that you bring out the truth and killing falsehood. And so, and again, thank you so much for the kind of work that you're doing. And I wish you the best. And I hope you succeed and get more viewers, international basis. They can stand with you and, crush this nonsense illusion that we're living in, because it's just, this is just madness. What's
Yeah,
going
we're
on?
living in very serious times. Thank you.
Yes.
And as a famous Irish comedian used to say, may your God go with you.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Dave Allen, great man.
All right.
Okay, all the best.
Thank you.
All the
Okay.
best.
Take care.
Cheerio. Take care. And as morning rises in Texas, the afternoon starts here in
Can you
Show.
see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. All the
All right.
best.
Thank you. Thank you. Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
Bye.